Hey there, it's Hannibal. This is Across the Table, and this is my podcast. I'm usually a magician. I'm always a magician, but I also tell stories, and I write stories, and I do podcasts, and I occasionally do video diaries, and I like the sound of my voice. I have a gift, and I like to share it. How's that? Is that a little less egocentrical? It is very late. It is 1:26 Central Time, which makes it February the 16th, 2018. This is the second part of my journey across America from Charlotte, North Carolina to Northridge, California, which is a part of Los Angeles. Today has been a very interesting day. Interesting in the adventure sort, where we always think of the exciting, fun parts of the adventure, but we gloss over what has to happen to make those things happen. Today was one of those testing days. So I woke up this morning, yesterday morning on the 15th, as I usually do around 4 a.m., as something that clicks in my brain. And that's when I recorded the first podcast of the journey, the part one. And I went back to sleep. Slept another 2 or 3 hours because I was pretty wiped out after the events of the day. And woke up and got a little bit of breakfast. And as I was having my raisin bagel, I pulled up the financials to see where we were and discovered that my bank had removed $2,500 from my bank account to cover an old debt I didn't know I have. Now, apparently it has something to do with old marital debt and my former marriage partner either not opening the envelopes and throwing them away or not recognizing what they were for. Anyway, the debt got passed down to me because I'm responsible for those things, and apparently they had a court hearing back in September I didn't know about, and they decided that at some point in the future they would just start taking money out of bank accounts, and that day was yesterday. Big surprise. Perfect, horrible timing. With me being on the road and out here stranded. I was, yesterday morning, I was parked just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. I had a quarter of a tank of gas, around $300 in cash, and no other prospects. So I did what any red-blooded American entrepreneur would do. I put my problem out on social media, and I'm like, if anyone has any ideas or would like to donate to a cause or anything, And in the meantime, of course, I called the bank and asked them about it to see if the charges could be reversed or if I could get set up on a payment plan of some kind rather than taking the lump sum of $2,500 out all at once, leaving me stranded. And they gave me the number of the debt collector / attorney, and I called that person, and that person informed me that while the money had been taken out of my account, it had not reached their account yet, and there was nothing they could do until they got the money. And then they could talk about it. And they couldn't even talk about it at the time because they had not received the funds. They suggested I call the bank back and coordinate with them. So I called the bank back and told them what the attorney had told me, and I asked is this going to happen every night? Is it going, is there more debt? Are they going to take out any money that I put in? Is it going to get taken out every single night? I need to make plans about things. And she could not tell me. Due to law, due to rules, due to not wanting me to know whether or not money was going to be in my account or when they might plan on taking it out. It all seems awfully suspicious to me. But it was explained to me in a very calm, business-like manner that my money is not my business. Especially if I owe people money. Which apparently I owe a lot of people money. Because entertainer, because divorce, because life happens. So, I was left with nothing, and social media people they answered the call, and they fed my PayPal, and I was able to get gas in the truck. They've raised enough for me to, I believe, to fill this wonderful gas hogging beast all the way to California. I have faith that I will make it, and then we will make plans once that happens. Right now, it's the journey. The important thing is covering ground and getting to my destination. So that's what I'm focused on, and I'm not letting the other prospect stuff, all the debt and the removal of the funds, and where will I come up with this month's alimony because that's what that was earmarked for, and all the other things that really should be bothering me aren't. I have a very light heart about the whole thing. I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I'm not going to live under fear anymore. And having made that decision, when all these things came down, it was all just a very calm, okay, well, how do we overcome it? How do we make it right? How do we get on down the road? And it worked. And small donations, I don't think nobody hurt for money trying to help me get down there, but small donations to push me on down the road a little further. And that was amazing. I have the most incredible friends and the most incredible fans ever. And I'm not even famous yet. So I rolled up from Birmingham, got some gas, and drove to Memphis. And in Memphis, I accomplished a life goal. I went out, I parked the truck, I grabbed my table and my armor and my old busking pouch and my hat, and I put on my blue suede shoes because it's Memphis. And I walked out on the street and I put my table down and I busked in the heart of the Delta Blues. I did card tricks for people walking by. I played with them. We laughed together. I stayed there for, I don't know, a little over an hour, and made a little extra money to put in the truck. Because self-reliant magician is self-reliant. I was given this gift for a reason, right? And I thought, even at this point I hadn't yet asked too deeply or put it out there on Facebook and on Twitter about needing the funds. I'd mentioned it, but I hadn't really aggressively put it out there saying, hey, this is the story. But it made me feel good thinking, I can just pick major cities and busk in the street for enough money to make it to the next one and just hop down the road like that if I have to. And knowing I had that kind of, I'm going to use the word job security, because if I needed it to happen, I could absolutely make it happen through the power of my own work and the work of my hands. It was doable. I am fortunate enough, like I said, I didn't actually have to do that. Memphis was a rare treat. I was going to probably do that anyway, whether I needed the money or not. But what an exceptional, amazing thing. I was dizzy in the process of it. It was just like there were musicians in other parts of the street, and there were drummers, and there were trumpet players, and blues bands, and it's only Thursday, right? It is Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday, and I've lost track of the days. I'm sorry. That's kind of what happens, especially to me on trips like this. But I jammed there for a while, and I kind of coordinated the performance to the music that was happening nearby, and it was one of those amazing times. I hung out through lunch, and I gathered my cash and went on down the road. I went from Memphis to Convoy, Arkansas, and from there a short hop over to Little Rock. Filled up the tank again, I believe, in Little Rock or nearby it, because it gets maybe 300 miles per tank full. It is a beast, and it is pulling my car, so it is doing overtime. But got to Little Rock, got out and walked around a bit, got my toes in the grass, and just kind of stretched and took some time for myself, about an hour or so, just to unwind. Then got back in the truck, and hightailed it to here. And here I am in a rest area about, I'm going to say 30 or 40 minutes outside of Oklahoma City. So I feel like I made some good progress today. From Birmingham to Oklahoma City ain't bad, especially taking a couple of hours to unwind and to busk and to make a little money and and deal with the things I dealt with. You know, I've thought about a lot of things. I've listened to some podcasts while I'm out on the road, and I'm becoming more in touch with ideas and creativity. Some things I wanted to you know, expand upon on this trip, on these times that I've got alone. And that's certainly been good, but I discovered also in myself that I still have the ability to take care of myself. And of course, I can do the corporate shows, and I can pay the rent, and I can pay the bills, and I can take care of the alimony. And I will be able to do that in greater strength in Los Angeles, I believe, given the networking opportunities. But just plain old getting out on the road and finding yourself suddenly broke with a massive tank, with everything, truck rather, with everything you own in it, a quarter of a tank of gas, no, like $300 in cash, but no reserves, and knowing you've still got thousands and thousands of miles to go to get your destination, and being able to just set up and do it. That feels great to me. That it's a gift. It is an absolute gift, and I'm not getting too woo here because I'm not gonna get into right now where I think the gift comes from, but I have it, and I made it. I made it through the day. I covered some ground. I ate some miles, and friends came through for me, and my talent and my work came through for me, and I'm a very lucky man. I'm living a really, really great life, and there have been times in the very recent past when I've wondered, maybe I should do something different. Maybe I should try for something more steady or more, I don't know, what's the word? I don't know. Steady is about, I guess, what I'm going to go with. But this is something my dad said to me when I was young, because when I first became a magician, when I first went in for it, I was in my late 20s. And I had made the decision that this is what I was going to do. And brought it to my father to talk about. And he, being the man that he wasn't keen on the idea, because while he had his own artistic side, he was very much more practical. He was an engineer, and so straight line thinker. He says, you really can't make any money at that. Magicians are a dime a dozen. They're all alike. They're all mediocre. And at the time, I was trying to disagree with him. I found out much later he was right for the most part. But I mentioned that right at the time, Lance Burton had just signed a multi-million-dollar contract over the course of 10 years. And I think the figure was $20 million over the course of 10 years. I could be wrong about that. I'm doing it off the top of my head. But my father, straight-faced, looked at me and went, $20 million over 10 years, that's not steady money. Yeah, okay. So I went ahead and became a magician anyway. I'm no Lance Burton. That's not the kind of act that I do, but he's no Hannibal either. And today, people that believe in me, that help support me, got me here. Literally got me here from one state to another. And part of it I did with my own hands, and found that I had the ability. If I had to do it all alone, I could. Luckily, I have people that love me and care about me, and made the path a little bit easier. And I'm extraordinarily grateful for that. So, it is 1:40 Central Time a.m. on February the 16th, and I am going to crawl in the back of my Ford Focus and sleep for a while before I tackle tomorrow and see what tomorrow's adventures will be. Thanks for listening, and I hope that there's love where you are.